Okay, everybody, how's everyone doing? That's neat on the ground. I like the effect. Okay, we're up to level 76. I'm still not got all the pieces of this. I've got 3 pieces now.
I'll keep your stash safe.
Where are they? Right down here. This piece, this piece, this piece, right? It would be nice to get the other 2 pieces and put them in there because, as you can see, way more damage. Way more bleeding. Then you get an extra health. You get offensive ability, right? Okay. And as you can see, as you add the set pieces, you get more bleeding, more offense, more attack speed, right? Okay. You can see here, more bleeding, health, offense. Then you get pierce and poison resistance. The actual poison resistance is handy because then you can get up in difficulty levels better, right? Which should help, right? Same here, right? Plus, I'm getting physical and elemental for vitality there. Plus, a lot more health, double the health, double the cunning, more than double the bleeding damage, right? And the armor is way better.
I'll keep an eye on this.
Anyway, so I'll show you what I've been doing, and I'm just gonna keep doing this because it seems to be a neat way to farm crystals, whatever else. Am I on normal? Yeah, you want to go to elite. Okay, oops. There we go. Oh, and see across the board in elite, we're all good right up to here, and just slowly starting to build these up. May change these if I find something better, you know. Anyway. Okay. Run through this and show it. And this is so you get and crystals. Farming crystals. 3 of those, and we're a little 24 of those. Okay. So then what I do, because manticore eyes are really hard to find, over here. Sometimes you'll get, at the very minimum, what you're doing this for is to get stuff like this. See, I got revered in the Covenant, and I've barely been doing their things. It's because you kill heroes and you get points, right? Anyway, keep going. Stupid me. Like way up and around. Sometimes you get a blueprint with that, but anyway, sometimes not. Okay, I'll just keep wandering around. Find one of these, always do it. See, I'm at 13% there, right? Slowly going up. Okay. When you go up another difficulty, it'll take 25 off. If you're 13 over, that means these will less than 12, right? This will stay at 80 because 25 minus 37. Same with that. Same with that. This will be down weak. Same with that and that. And this will be, I don't know, if it goes minus or just goes to 0. You can only pick one up. Okay. Back up. And just so you know, the kind of orangish areas is the places you've been, okay? The gray areas you've been to before, but you haven't during this play session. That's how you can do a bit of farming, okay? This is sort of teaching you how to do shit. I got thinking. Do one with a skeleton. Oh, I died. Whoops. You being stupid. That's why I should. Joyce is not paying attention. Okay, go down this way. One of the most annoying things in this game is gonna have to get a key made. Yeah. So it turns out I was dehydrating a little bit yesterday. I've gone through about 7 roommates in 2 years. Just a whole ton of bad luck, okay, with people, okay. The current one, he's half decent. He lies a little bit much, but, you know, he doesn't steal, so, he's pretty, you know, after you get at him, he'll be good for 5 or 6 days, and then there'll be something silly he does, okay? It's like, having an adult that's acting like a kid a bit. So, a little more manageable than some of the other issues that other people had. Like one guy not telling everybody he was diabetic. It's 450 pounds going in and wrecking my toilet seat and making a mess in the bathroom. And every hour, on the hour, all night long, he had to get up and go to the bathroom. So for 2 weeks straight, I didn't get any sleep. I mean, eventually, my body has problems, okay, with stress of all this. So apparently, one of the things that can happen is, it's like your muscles tighten up, Okay? And it's to do with a little bit of hydration, and also to do with the stress. Okay? So,
Got any
I
more
told
scrap
him today,
metal?
I says, listen, uh, you know, you're causing me so much stress that, medically, I gotta look after me. And if I gotta kick you out, then you gotta do it,
Bring me back any
You
blueprints
either
you find.
smarten up, like
I'll
this
keep
morning.
your stash safe.
Okay, yesterday, I went in to clean the bathroom, and everyone does this, okay? You start to see a spot on the bathroom or the ceiling. That's mold. It happens everywhere. Everybody gets that, okay? So you get out something and you clean it, okay? So after I was done that, I said, well, okay, walls look a little dirty a bit. So I did the walls, right? Okay? And every time I go in to use the bathroom, I have a spray that you can use. I spray the toilet and the toilet seat and then dry it off and then sit down and do whatever. Every time. So that's getting done at least once every day. Sometimes twice. So, whatever, right? So I get up at 6 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, go take a pee this morning, and I almost flipped on my ass. The entire floor is all soaking wet, and the toilet seat. Apparently my roommate, his infinite wisdom, decided he was going to mop the floor in there. But I guess he sees or hears me doing something, so it triggers him to do the same thing. You know what I mean? One of those, like, if I go 3 days without getting up after 10 o'clock, going to the bathroom or something, he doesn't think about that. It'll be the one time during the week when I get up at night, in the middle of the night, to go to the bathroom. He'll make an issue out of that then gives him the right to do it anytime he wants during the night, all week long, right? 12 o'clock, 2:30, and then it's so I don't get sleep. That's the kind of thing that I deal with, right? And it's one of those things where you got an excuse, and another excuse. Stop making excuses. It's not about me. This is about you, motherfucker. Stop it. Stop getting lippy. Stop bothering to you don't listen. You gotta start listening. And I'm gonna go back into that bathroom and properly clean the floor, because the edges of where the room is, it knocks dirt over to the sides and doesn't clean that up when you use a mop. You gotta take like a little sponge or something and go around the outsides. Okay? And you gotta do the walls there. Then I started to do the bathroom, or the bathtub, and my back hurt. So I got like half a bathtub, that mildew that gets onto the bathtub. After a while, you gotta scrape that off. You get a spray and spray it. These are just things. And I got a broken back, broken S5, pinched L4 and 5, nerve damage in the leg, okay? I breathed in chlorine gas, okay, one time, right? That's another story one day maybe I'll tell, okay? And, so, a little bit of breathing issues, right? So I gotta be careful with chemicals that I use from people that overdo it, okay? And they don't understand that, okay, some people, right? So instead of getting a chemical to do the floor with, right, I found out that using the stuff that you do with your laundry soap, take the laundry soap and a cap, bleach in there, and that will disinfect, and it lifts the dirt off the floor. The problem is your floor is a little slippery after that, so you gotta be careful walking around. That's fine when it's dry. And when you mop, there's a thing that takes a lot more of the water out. You do that so that it's almost all that, and then you mop. And you might have to do that once or twice, right? Because you pick up all the dirt, right? And you get rid of that, and you put another, and you do it a second time until there's no dirt. There should be no dirt. It should not go black or dirty. Okay? Like, I'm serious, you know? Yeah.
I'll hold on to that for
Okay, so what was I doing?
you. I'll keep your stash safe.
Not
It's safe with me. Promise.
you know, like,
Come see what's
these are
left
things
of
you
my
learn
wares.
as an adult how to do them, you know? For man or woman, it don't matter. You should know how to do this basic shit. Your parents should teach you these things. That's what being a parent's about. It's not just, you know, taking a kid to a baseball game all the time. Watching sports. But, like, you know, I feel sorry for the kid, but I don't feel sorry for the kid because, you know, he doesn't have a hobby. All he wants to do is sit there and watch sports. You know? It's like, what the hell, man? Everyone else has a hobby. Everyone I know has a hobby. The people that don't, they're, I don't know, they're weird. You gotta wonder, eh? Everybody that I, as a friend, has at least a console, like a gaming console, or a computer, right? I think 85–90% of Canadians do. So when you only have a cell phone, that's a flag, right? That's a flag. Now all these things are going to become real expensive anyway. Amazon's putting up prices. Ram's up 500%. All this stuff is going up, up and away. So look after what you got. And, you know, to the people that want a physical sale, those days, but you could push for retro saving, like GOG does, GOG.com. Okay? I'm playing a version here. We can download all the files, right? Put them on some storage media. There you go. Now, storage media is going to get hard to get. CDs, DVDs, all that shit. Right? I've got a spindle of 100 Blu-rays and an external Blu-ray writer and reader. Very rare. Very stressful day. Because you go and lay down at night. So you go lay down about 9 o'clock. You got your TV in your room or whatever. You put on some stupid show and you fall asleep too. Okay. All of a sudden you woke up it's either a noise at the door, right, or some odor that's making you want to throw up. Like, what do you do? Right? So I says to the guy today, I says, so when you go to shower, what are you showering with in there? Right? Like, I use bar soap, right? And some shampoo. Right? Wash yourself up, right? Okay? I can go a day without showering because I'm not doing much, okay? And often I have air conditioner on and it keeps the room cool enough. I'm not sweating like that, you know? I'm not stinking, you know? I'm not overexerting it, right? But if you're running around this building, there's a person that was on the third floor that just had an odor when you get on the elevator. You know what that was for the longest time? I was thinking, geez, I start wearing a mask. Then one of my neighbors said, you got something there, like it, and apparently it's a fungus. Oh, God, it's disgusting. Right? So, that. But my rent's so fucking cheap, right? What do? I move out of here, my rent goes up $300-400. Right? Then I'm done. Right? I have to cut my internet rate down to almost nothing. And that would be all I'd have. There'd be no future of this because I wouldn't be able to afford it. And that's Doug Ford and his friends screwing with the rent controls. That's conservatism right there. Screwing everybody. Like Doug Ford goes last month and makes a deal with North Carolina about doing more trade, and here he is in the news mouthing off Trump. Who, by the way, put a lot of money into North Carolina to get a certain person elected that Doug Ford is dealing with, making these deals. So, ponder that. He's pretending to be Mr. Canada when he's just... We should be firing that guy. Anyway. Don't know what I'm doing. I'm just rolling a cigarette. And that's why my voice is starting to sound crackly and everything else. It's just like, you know. And the other thing that annoys me about some people, why would you go out on the front porch and with your voice elevated start talking about this shit, right? Okay? Phones up his mom and starts saying, well, I went and cleaned the bathroom today, and he's yelling at me. That's, no, I don't care who you're talking to there, buddy. Don't make me out to be the bad guy when you went and mopped the floor, and it's like just dumping water all over the place. Who the fuck does that shit, right? And then screws off. Okay, that's what it looked like. It looked like, and here's the kicker, right? The floor was not clean. It had little bits of whatever all over the floor, and then you could see footprints because it wasn't dry enough. Yeah, and when you mop, you go backwards so that your feet don't get wet or make little footprints in the whatever. It's like a puzzle. You got to fit yourself in to go around. I don't know. Like, you know, it's like some people's brains ain't wired to think. It's like chess. You gotta think a few moves ahead while you're doing things, right? Some people don't do that.
Put it to good use.
You know, they're wired that way, I guess. I don't. And it seemed like an intentional thing. Okay, there's two ways that you can see what will happen here. Okay, he either wanted to be an asshole this morning at 6 o'clock and just went through water, shit all over the toilet floor, and then took off because he was gone for a good hour before he come back, and then I fucking was yelling at him about this shit, right?
I do the best I can with what I've got.
Gentlemen. Like you see, and that's the kinds of things in the background of real life that people never get to hear about or see going on in every YouTuber's lives, right? They don't see these things, right? Until it's much after, and it's so much worse.
If you find any blueprints, bring them back in.
I like, you know, now we need 8,000 hours, so I don't need this. I don't need this freaking drama around here. You know, it's like being realistic. Do I just say the hell with this and just post videos and just whatever? I don't care anymore. Does YouTube allow us to just do this forever? You know, if you don't make it, do they just start canceling everybody? Or being able to even post if you fail to make meat or grow? I don't know. This is what I say, you know? You gotta fucking smarten up. Very janky, very janky. This is what I mean about doing these dungeons. Find the odd thing in here. We're gonna go. We're not even there yet. Got a little bonus there with the rovers. You do this over and over, and eventually you would a blueprint, you know, stuff like that. Okay, let's look at the map here. Like my day started, I wake up, man, you know. Coughing, and I don't know what I'm coughing. I know there's something that's wrong with me. Okay? Like, when people are laying down, sleeping, they don't see, more reputation with the rovers. And what you do is, see, where's the rovers? Right here, see? Look at that. We're into there. We're almost to the end there. So then you might be able to start a new, like, I'm thinking, get the mandates or whatever. Ah, jeez. To pass those to a new character, and then you can do things, right? That's how that works. We're not even used up yet. Some of these guys is tough, eh? Okay. Here we go. Misery. Oh, my nose. Guys and their stupid bows and arrows. Okay. Now, while this won't give you a devotion point, sometimes they give you back end bonuses that it may not be evident. Finally. See, sometimes you get good shit. Oh. We're still not in a place that needs a key either. Yeah, where did I come in? I want to see where I am. Let's see. So I'm gonna go in here and over. once I go in here, this will disappear. So what you want to do, before you go in there, is do this. Get rid of all your crap.
I'll give you a good price on what I've got left. See you around.
I'll keep your stash safe.
And the other thing is, and that's why sometimes I've gone a stretch without doing some videos and make some excuse, whatever. Is I have things I gotta do and I gotta run around doing them, and whether you're healthy or not doesn't matter about some shit, right? What the hell? Why didn't you get? Oh, I haven't done that yet. And I was trying to explain to the kid too. One of the reasons why there's a couple of reasons why I won't put something like a sports channel or something on my other computer in the living room. There's two reasons. One, it all supports, all that stuff now supports people that are Trumpers, and I'm sick and tired of that fucking moron. Okay, he's a complete idiot. His family are a bunch of perverts and sickos. He's a sicko, and I'm not putting money into that crap. And I don't want to be associated with that crap, right? I mean, it's a sad thing if you like sports and everything, but you know what? That's an issue. The other one is this government law passed about age verification, and you know, I don't have $163 for a passport. I also don't have however much money some other government piece of ID is going to cost me. So that means I'm just going to disappear right off the internet. Well, you know, what's the sense of having it then? Okay? Pay $143 for this gigabit because I want to be able to get shit done. It takes very few minutes for me at 30 megabits to upload my videos, right? Well, if I'm doing a new game, it takes only minutes for me to get the game, and then I'm playing it first, right? That's what you want to do as an influencer, which I'm not really trying to be. I'm just trying to be a guy that plays the game as it should be played.
I'll hold on to that for you.
I don't know how hard this will be, but get it out of there. Fruit flies appears. Don't drink in my palm. That was the other thing. I went into the kitchen there the other day. There's a bee flying around. I'm like, well, you know, this is why you don't leave food on the counter, right? See? It's hard. And that was because it's sometimes disability. It's because of your mouse. Mouses aren't designed to do what I'm doing, right? So I'll click that little button and it won't trigger. It won't. Even though, and then about a second later it decides to do it, and then by then I'm aiming my mouse in panic. Right? But anyway, so you get an idea of what things are about. Okay.
See anything you like?
Yeah, all these weapons do more damage, but they're not part of a set that gives me bonuses either. I don't want to do right. See? It gives me all the loot that you ever wanted for other classes. So yeah, but I had Netflix and I was watching Walking Dead, and then I get to season 10 and it tells me that I can't watch anymore because the type of account that has ads doesn't support the licensing. I'm like, what the frickin' hell? What's the advertising for then? You know, like these companies just think we're all stupid assholes. That's why I canceled it. And then, okay, now Buddy's like, well, can I get, you get at least Netflix? So I go, blah, blah, blah. And he's going to pay for it. So, okay, fine. That'll happen at the end of the month. I'll do that now, or after I'm done here. Then, you know, the point being, though, is that with the age verification and everything, you know, that Netflix doesn't have, they're not into the sci-fi like I am, right? I like CGI, I like special effects and stuff like that. That's my thing. Okay, I think we're done there.
Iron well spent.
A couple levels.
I'll keep your stash safe.
There. Put that there. And you know,
I'll hold on to that for you.
I'm one of those kinds of persons that I won't lie to you. If you ask me a question and I don't want to answer it, that or would require a lie, I just won't answer. Oh, you know. Then my conscience doesn't have these issues of having to make another lie over top of another lie over top of another lie and then get caught with like an idiot. You know? Life's simple, right? Why make it more complicated than it has to be? Right? And if I'm ever wrong, I admit to it, and then it makes it better because then you go, okay, I did something wrong there. Maybe next time I won't do that. I won't say sorry because it's already happened. Right? I just say, hey, I was wrong. Or something like that. But people that don't, that's a sign that they really don't and aren't sorry or, you know, feel that they're wrong. Like, I get it, you know, it's like having a baby or a kid, and when the kid washes you clean, and then, oh, I gotta do that, but doesn't know how to do it. The effort was there, A for effort, but F minus because you know, you didn't know what you were doing. You know, like, well, he goes to me, he says, well, I was out taking the garbage out. He says, you ever take the garbage? I go, yeah, I got a wheelbarrow so that I don't have to lift the bags up. I put garbage in. I took 3 bags out the other day. I got a lot of these big plastic bottles of water that I have, right? So I just put them at the side of the room, and then when there's enough of them, I put them in bags and I take them out, right? That's what the part of the mess in my room is. It's because they got all these stupid plastic bottles in here. And I smoke, and what I do is I make a pile of the cigarette butts, and I take the tobacco back out, and I make a big pile of tobacco and save myself some money and just roll cigarettes, right? Saving myself some money, because shit ain't cheap. Go figure. You know, I'm on disability. He's on disability supposedly, right? You get the same amount of money, and I don't have mommy and daddy giving me bucks to go running around and get a car and drive. I mean, all the things he's doing, it don't sound like you're very disabled, and that's a thing. You know, at least 3 times it's told, well, I might have a job or something that where I can, you know, we're allowed to make $1,000 a month. I says, well, go ahead then. You know, don't tell me about it until after you're working. You know? And then he doesn't get the job, I guess. Whatever. Oh, excuse me. This trade war, whatever. All I gotta say is the rest of the world better smarten up. And I'll say this to the European Union, okay? If some of these leaders had a little more backbone and stood up a little bit more in their countries, I guarantee you'd get more votes. Okay? Quit being such pushovers. Okay? Alright? Because the second you stand up to him, you can go stand beside the Canadian Prime Minister. And then the next guy, and then there's a whole group of you. What's he gonna do? What's the United States gonna do? They're gonna cut themselves completely off of all trade with the rest of the world? Seriously? Good luck with that. In about 5 years, your military will be looking like something out of a Tonka wreck yard. The U.S. doesn't have enough of the critical minerals, period, to supply half of its army with half of its toys. So, don't act so frickin' tough, okay? Quit being assholes to everybody. And to these corporations out there that are sucking ass to them, your day will come too. Alright? This includes the Paramounts, the Amazons, the Alphabets, all these companies that suck up to a rapist. A rapist. I want you to ponder that. Okay? That's sick. And there's some laws of physics that are really kind of sum this up. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Okay? Some of what I've seen that comes from the U.S., you know, terrible. Just terrible. But I'll say this too, okay? The Democrats in the U.S. have a problem. And it's a bad one, okay? What they do is they wait until the Republicans do something really stupid or bad or illegal and think they can get away with it, and then they react. Okay? And they've been doing this forever, okay? The problem with that is it's now to the point where most of their people, all they do is rage react. They don't go, well, this is wrong, and this is how I do it differently. And here's a solution to this. They don't. They just sit back and let everybody get more and more angry, thinking, okay, their side's bad, our side's not as bad. We'll just sit here and wait for everybody to vote us in instead. That's not how to do it, eh? Because eventually people stop voting. Such a big amount don't vote that you get a Trump. That's the problem. What the Democrats should be doing is running around talking to the non-voters. Because the people that will vote, they're going to vote one way or the other already, however they're going to vote. You'll swing very few percent of that. And usually that involves bribery of some form of nature, which is disgusting in and of itself. Like, one of the things I say about Carney is that he's got some very smart people around him and has for a long time. Some of these bankers are clever to a T. I had this idea about solar panels, and it was very fleshed out. Would have been probably, if I wrote it all down, several pages in length, like a blueprint or a template of how a government over 20 years could put solar arrays on everybody's homes, create 100,000 jobs, put $45 extra billion into homeowners' pockets, save taxes, do your welfare system and disability in such a way that your rents would go down. And what you could do with the solar is give half of that to the landlord, the savings, and half to the disability person, so that the disabled persons and the welfare people both live better off. And when you live better off, you feel better off, and there's more chances of the person on welfare to find a job, and the person on disability will live better and feel better. Usually that means less cost to the taxpayer as well. And creates 100,000 some odd jobs across the country perpetually forever. Okay, that was at the time when I came up with it was $30, $40 an hour, right? Now you got to remember those people will pay taxes, so then that money comes back to the federal government and the provincial governments and so on and so forth. So you're calculating all this out, right? And I really did go into it, okay? And then I put it up there on the internet, some native guys came along, and I said, yeah, this will help you guys out, because if you guys got lots of power, right, you sell it back to businesses, and then, you know, right, and that's how you get your savings, right, on top of that, right, and then Carney's Week can come along, bring me to this private YouTube channel where they're talking these big 20-something trillion green fund, and you know, all these bankers at a table, and they're discussing ways to divvy up this money, and he was talking about how Canada was going to get like $2 trillion worth. This is during Trudeau's time, just as Trudeau was starting, and then, you know, COVID come along, and, you know, now inflationary prices, and this would be a plan that takes 20 years to do. And the reason I stretched it out like that is because you don't just want to hand the public $45 billion, because then that will drive inflation up. So you spread it out, it keeps inflation down so that the pricing of things doesn't go stupid. Ah, man's thinking, you see. That's what really had the cleverness of the plan. But what I saw from the banker side, though, was that corporate angle of let's get a field, and we'll put solar arrays in it, we invest in it, and we make the money, and no one else. You see, that's what the difference between my plan and a corporate plan was. Mine's for everybody, okay? Because it would lower the cost of electricity to everyone, okay? Anyway, so Germany's doing a version of it, you know, and they're getting there, and so are some other countries. But one of the things to do is to mandate when you build a house, you put solar on it, right? And you got to have a battery system that can handle that, and they'll last for 20 years, right? And the people in Alberta would be upset because now they're not selling us oil, or the Americans aren't selling us any oil, or anyone is. Well, you can sell it to someone else who hasn't got there yet, or this tech here there yet, right? And that's where building these pipelines and everything else then comes in, and all this other shit, right? And this is why I say, you know, you gotta wait. And then you did this giant Hoover Dam thing. Well, there you go, right? That takes care of down east in Quebec. Okay? Now we gotta deal with Ontario. Okay? So we're gonna do these micronuclear things. The problem with those is that they only do like 14 to 20,000 people per one each of those, okay? Well, if you got 10 million people, you're going to need an awful lot of those, and if they cost several $1 billion each, that's more than the nuclear plant would be to service half of a fucking province. That's why I'm Doug Ford's doing things in the how do I do something that I can profit from as the leader. He's no different than Trump. He's just playing his game to keep power. That's why he pulled an election the way he did. The last one, he went around doing his PR on roofs in Ottawa after a giant storm because he didn't want people to see that he was going to call an election while everybody's out trying to fix their shit. And wonders why nobody showed up to the election. Right? You know? Don't worry for it, it's coming. People aren't stupid. They know that you're making these deals with Americans and Staples and all those other places. Then you're pretending to be Mr. Canada. Sometimes you know you need a guy like him, but at some point you got to say, hey, it doesn't help, right? But anyway, I just wanted to kind of let everybody know, like, life is just what it is, right? I gotta be something to fix my bathroom because whenever someone goes and takes a crap, let's just say, the odor leaks out into the hallway and then it leaks into my room because the air circulates, I guess, out through my room, I guess, right? It comes in here. So it's kind of one of those things where what I did was I got saran wrap and put it in between my door, right? And just lined it there, and it's stuck there, right? It's stuck there. So now, when I open and shut the door, it's not so bad. But that's a solution that for anyone else that, you know, wants to have an idea about that. I go the wrong way. Yeah, I did. Up here. Go around. Oh yeah, no, I know. I was hard. Usually there's a giant thing there. Wow. Where are you? Oh, yeah. Did I kill you earlier? you gotta solve it, right?
I'll give you a good
Can't,
price on
well,
what I've got left.
that's unfortunate. You gotta try. First you don't succeed, try again. That'd be good for resistance. Not pierce resistance. Poison too, eh? But you, by doing that, you lose some damage each time you do this. I've done that once so that I can bring my resistances up. So if I do get caught flat-footed, like I have, you saw there a couple times, you don't just get schmucked instantly right away. Wrath of the Ascendant. Right. Power burning hatred. Spirits. What is resistance? Over here it's 12%. What's higher elsewhere? And that, it doesn't quite show you what that really is because it's kind of bugged. Stun resistance, slow resistance, dodge chance, retaliation, block guardian,
Iron well spent.
Okay, guys.